I'm Bree from Rising Tide, and this video is going to be kind of a continuation of our HaloPSA implementation series. It is jumping a little bit ahead to ticketing, so this will be covering the ticket screen and how to manage and look at tickets on the agent experience side, and some of the ways that Halo is different than most other systems. Starting at our home screen, you'll see that each of these circles here are different areas, and these correlate to the areas that we see on our navigation menu on the side. We'll be focusing on our ticketing areas, which can be configured in configuration and in areas. So I've got scrolls, quests, and a area that has just my own tickets, and we can configure the types of tickets that we see within the areas. So through the filters, I'm showing my scrolls or my service desk area for the ITIL ticket types of these ticket types. You can also change the name or the icon that is shown and a few other settings here. Jumping into my scrolls or my service desk area, you'll see that we have our header here at the top, which is the same no matter where we are in Halo. We also have two different searches. So we have our global search that can search all these types of things, but we also have an area search, which if we are looking for a ticket, we can search here. It will automatically pull up that ticket. We will see that same search within whatever area that we are in within Halo. Within the area, we have our main screen, which we can present tickets in multiple different ways. So I'm going to click on a team where we can see how those tickets can be presented. We can see them by a tile view, which kind of works like Outlook when you click on an email and then you can read the contents of that email. So you click on a ticket and you can read the contents of that ticket. You also have a Kanban view, which shows swim lanes based on statuses that potentially we can drag and drop to put them in different statuses. There's also a calendar or Gantt view, though those are not really relevant when it comes to support tickets. That's mostly on the project side. Most MSPs will use the table view to organize their tickets. Within the filtering of the area itself, so we are filtering on those ITIL ticket types in my scrolls area, there are other layers of filtering. One of those layers of filtering are our filter profiles, which are shown up here and also in our view. So we can see tickets that are open versus tickets that are just closed, or tickets that are open, including SLA hold. This adds a middle layer of filtering in between our areas and our view filtering. So views, right now we're looking at the tickets by team view, but we can also look at tickets by type, which will list all of our ticket types. And within those, we can see tickets that are of the instant ticket type, and also within the scrolls area, and also within our open tickets, including SLA hold. So if we're looking at the tickets by status view, for example, we'll see all tickets that are new, regardless of what team that they are in or which agent that they're assigned to. But if we look at tickets by team, it will show all tickets within the team, regardless of which status that they're actually in. Most MSPs will work within the tickets by team view. Underneath our tickets by team view, we also have lists or boards, and they are referred to by both names in different areas of Halo. We also have a view where we can just show lists. If we go ahead and right click and edit this list, we can change our list name. We can say where it's going to be used, We can even group lists so we can have more organization and have groups of lists that all work together. The sequence will show in which order the lists show up. We also can add lists to the by team view. So that way you don't have to just have lists. You can see the team view and work 90% out of those, but also have lists that might show important tickets that need to be looked at. And by having the, going back to our breaching SLA lists, by having the show counts in tree view, we can have an indicator of tickets that we need to look at that are breaching SLA, which indicates that they are important and that we might need to look at them. So if we are back to our tickets by team view, I might be in the Ravenclaw team working on a ticket, but if I see that a ticket has shown up based on the count here, I might want to jump in and see what's going on. Lists are predefined views that aren't affected by the filter profiles. So we are showing here all tickets that include SLAs that are breached but don't include closed tickets. You might have a list that shows tickets that are critical. So maybe you have a summary that includes or starts with critical tickets. And you can create a list that all of those tickets will go under. And like I said, those lists are not defined by the filter profile. You'll see the filter profile actually goes away because we are defining a filter based on the list of tickets that we want to see. Furthermore, we can create lists that actually show up underneath the team that the list might be relevant to. So maybe we want to show open problems only under our Hufflepuff team because they're the ones that are going to be paying attention to those. So if we save and go back to tickets by team, we'll see that the open problems list has been removed under all of the teams. And underneath the Hufflepuff team, we'll see that they can see tickets that are within each agent, or we can just see open problems that don't necessarily have to be assigned to the agent in a Hufflepuff team, but they can be assigned to anyone, but they should be paying attention to those as well. So in combination with your filters on your areas and your filter profiles and your views, those show the kinds of tickets that you're going to see within an area, but your column profiles will show what those tickets actually look like when you're looking at a list of all of those tickets and what information that you'll see kind of at a bird's eye view about those tickets. So if we go to edit columns and we can edit one of our column profiles, we can see all of the columns that are showing within our table of tickets. There are a ton of different columns that you can add to your table based on the information that you need to see. And within those columns, there is a bunch of different ways that you can define how those columns are displayed. So, for example, we can add our client field, which will just break out separately between the client versus adding in the site or user. And we can say that we want to group our list of tickets by this column, all of the tickets, and grouped by which client that they fall under. Additionally, we can sort by a column and have different levels or priorities of sorting. We can also rename the column if we want to call the column something else. And we can set a default column width. So typically what we can do is we can stretch the columns based on if we need to see more information that's been cut off, but you can define a set width for the column, because if we edit these manually here, but we refresh, then it will go back to our automatic widths. Within the column profile, we also have the ability to set HTML to have a tile layout. And we can have raw HTML where variables can be used, and we can insert those variables through here to add the variables that we want to see. That can also be done with the Kanban cards or a dashboard as well. If you wanted a different column profile based on your list, we can set a column profile that should be used when we are viewing tickets within the list. We can set default lists based on the area that we are in. So if we go to configuration tickets and areas within an area, so we have the project view column profile that shows the relevant information that we need to use for projects. We also can set a column profile by the agent based on what they want to see in preferences, tickets, and their default column profile. And also, if we go to tickets and views, we can set just a default column profile that can be overridden by our agent preferences. So all of that shows that it is very flexible based on the tickets that you want to view and how you want to view them and where you are viewing them in Halo. Next, we want to talk about what it looks like within a ticket and the different things you can do within a ticket. And I have a good test ticket under here. When you first open a ticket, you'll see these buttons at the top that can be clicked to perform work on the ticket. And that work is logged under the Progress tab of the ticket. These are called actions, and which actions are available to you will depend on your ticket type or your workflow and which workflow step that you're on. When it comes to our main screen here, we first have our ticket number. We have our summary of the ticket, which these two will be combined when you email from the ticket to have a ticket number and the combined subject of the email. We also have a widget at the top that shows our SLA information, shows that the ticket is on SLA hold with our response targets and resolution targets, and on this ticket it unfortunately was not met. And my screen is a little bit compressed, but typically you would have your end user details and your ticket information broken out on two side panes that are right next to each other. This is information about the ticket itself. And when it comes to Halo, Halo is a hierarchy of different entities. So within organizations like your MSP organization, you'll have departments, and then you'll have teams and agents. So going from the bottom up, agents must be within a team, teams are within departments, and departments are in an organization. On the other hand, and what's usually shown to the right of the ticket information pane, is your end user details. And why I mentioned the hierarchy on your MSP side is the hierarchy works the same on the client side in Halo, where you have end users and they are within sites, and then you have sites within a client. And if you have top levels turned on, then your client can be a part of a top level. Tickets must be assigned to both an agent and a user. If you don't know the user of a ticket, Every single site within a client has a general user, which the general user can be renamed, and a lot of MSPs will rename it to unknown user or no contact. So here we see that there is a no contact user. On the same end, on the MSP side, if we don't have a ticket assigned to a specific agent, within every single team, there is a unassigned agent. So if we were to switch this team to Hufflepuff, we will see the agents that are within the Hufflepuff team, and then there is the assigned agent as well. If we go to Ravenclaw, there is the unassigned agent. So therefore, a ticket must always be assigned to an agent and a user, whether it is a human or the unassigned agent or the general user. The end user details pane will show information that is relevant to the user, to the site, and within the client itself. Back to our main screen, right underneath the summary is our workflow stages, so we can see how close the ticket is to getting to a resolution. We also have our tabs within the ticket, which you might see different tabs based on your ticket type, and these are fully customizable based on what you want to see within that ticket type. Our progress tab shows actions, so these buttons that are clicked up here, that have already been done. So it shows actions that have been performed, and the actions that are up here are actions that can be performed. Hovering over one of these actions that have been performed, you have different things that you can do when you hover over the three dots. We can view some more information about the action. So this was an email that was sent where we can see the actual HTML of the email and the time that it took. In addition, with the three dots here, this eyeball indicates that this action that was done is an internal note, which is not shown to the end user. So there is a slash by that eyeball showing that the end user, if they log into the portal and they view this ticket, they won't be able to see this note. But say we want to go ahead and show it to them. Once we do that, that eyeball goes away. So these actions that are done, and this internal note action that was done, is very arbitrary. We can name it whatever we want. It does not mean that what it says it does is exactly how it behaves. It's based on how you configure the behavior to do what you want it to do. Within our progress tab, we can have different views of what types of actions that were completed by clicking on the conversation bubble here. So right now we're showing conversation and internal, but say we only wanted to show time entries, and we can list those here. We can show which actions are public versus which ones are private. And we also can show all actions that have been done since the ticket was open, and that includes our system level actions. So if we scroll up here, this was showing that the system took the ticket off of SLA hold. We see a failure and some more releases from the SLA hold. And as you can see, these ones are not shown to the end user, but it's just so we can see what is happening with the ticket itself. Back to our time entries. Whenever we submit time via an action, we'll see the time that was taken, as well as a charge rate if that action was something that would be billable. And right underneath, it will show how the ticket was billed. So it shows that it was billed to the contract here. If this was a client that didn't have a contract, it would say billed hours and would actually create an invoice for the ticket. And lastly, within tickets, we have these icons up here. So these ones will just scroll us to the next ticket in the list, which I am right under the Slytherin team and my own agent, and I don't have any other tickets in the list. But if we go to Michael Corner and we select one of his tickets, we can select next and it will take us back to the next ticket in his list. He only has 2 tickets, so we can only see those when we click next because that is the selection that we're in within our view. And back to our test ticket here, we also can open the ticket in a whole new window, and that takes away our ability to move in between our tickets because it took away our ticket view on the side. We can hide our menus, so we see our main screen, some more information here. We can bring those back. We also can show which agents or users are following a ticket, so where they can be notified if we wanted to, or where the end users can see them in their portal. We have a link, so we can copy and send a direct link to this ticket. And in the 3 dots, we have a bunch of other actions that we can perform on the ticket that are separate than our actions here. These actions will show on every ticket and are not as customizable as the ones that show up here. We can customize these in kind of a permissions level, so we can give agents the ability that they can't delete tickets or they cannot treat tickets as spam. But we can also do some fun things here, like issue an item that will bring up our item catalog, or we can edit the email recipients. So when we send an email, the default recipients on the ticket, add attachments, and do a bunch of other things that you can do outside of our configurable actions. That's an overview of our ticketing areas, filter profiles, column profiles, views, and the different areas of the ticketing screen. There's so much more that goes into configuring each of those different parts, but this is more of a foundational level to show all the things that can be done in Halo and how to start thinking about how you want to organize your tickets. And then when you have them organized, what you can do within a ticket so you have a good idea of how you might want to configure what's being seen and what actions that you can take when you start working on your tickets.